Ask a flat earther what would convince him that the Earth is round, and you'll probably get one of two answers. Nothing, because it's flat, or show me a picture of the Earth from space where you can see the curvature. Now, if you think that the latter answer means that all you have to do is provide the evidence you've been asked for, then you really haven't been paying attention.
Any image showing the Earth from space, or, well, any image of anything in space really, is rejected as fake, typically backed up with insightful comments such as, "Can't you tell that's CG? Do you seriously believe that's real?" Or, "It just doesn't look real to me." Flatties will never acknowledge even the possibility that any footage from space is genuine because they don't believe that space as we know it exists. Stars are just little dots on a dome, remember? In fairness, sometimes flatties will at least try to present some kind of supporting argumentation for why images from space are fake. It always sucks, though. In different images, the Earth looks very different. It's like the artists can't decide what it looks like. There are several reasons for this. The most obvious is that the Earth doesn't always look the same. Cloud patterns won't stay the same, the colors of the planet change somewhat with the seasons. But that's not all. Different cameras may have been used, or different types of film or digital sensors. This will affect the look of the captured image. Finally, images published in popular media are almost always processed, either for purely aesthetic reasons or to bring out specific details that are relevant to the context in which the image is used. Where are the stars? Images of the Earth from space won't have stars visible in the background unless it's a heavily processed image or a composite. This is because the stars, although many orders of magnitude brighter than the Earth, are very far away, and the light that actually reaches the camera is only a tiny fraction of the light actually emitted. Exposing the film or sensor so that the stars are visible in the image will mean overexposing the Earth, turning it pretty much completely white in the image. Since the point is to take a picture of the Earth, that means underexposing the stars so they won't show up in the image. NASA uses CG footage and composite images. They even admit this themselves. That's true. Lots of images they use are CG or composites, and in the interest of honesty, they point this out. The issue here is you have to ask what the purpose of the image is. Are they claiming that it's authentic, or is it just meant to illustrate something? Does it matter if it's all captured at once, or can I combine multiple images taken at different points in time? Maybe I have to. If I want to show all land, for example, I can't just take one image because all land won't be visible due to cloud coverage and the fact that some of it will be on the far side of the planet. Obviously, a composite of multiple images will be necessary. If the purpose is to illustrate something, a CG or even hand-drawn image might actually work better than a photograph, because you're free to emphasize the specific details you actually find relevant. You can also disregard scale, which is often a pain in the ass. Plus, it might actually be impossible to take a photo for practical reasons. Try taking a photo of the Milky Way as seen from a million light years away, without going a million light years away.
What's important here is that no one is using CGI or composite imagery while claiming it's authentic. The fact that some images are CG or composites and openly declared as such does in no way imply that the rest of them are fake. In fact, not even those images, the CGI and composite images, are fake, because fake implies an intention to deceive, to pass something off as something it's not, and that's not what's being done here.
In videos of the Earth from space, the animators forget to move the clouds, lol. Clouds move pretty slowly compared to the speed with which the Earth rotates. But this brings up another issue. If it were fake, and clouds really do move at the speed flatties seem to think, wouldn't they have put that in? This is so common with conspiracy theorists. They assume that it's possible to fool the entire world while being so incompetent that anyone with a working pair of eyes can see through the deception. All it should take to convince someone of the obvious truth is to tell them to wake up, sheeple.
If it's that easy, it's a shit conspiracy. And on that note,
can't you see that the artists add stupid things in the clouds like smiley faces or dirty words? That's just pareidolia. It's a consequence of the human mind looking for patterns. It's the same phenomenon that leads people to see funny shapes in the clouds from down on Earth, or religious imagery in toast. You see a random pattern that loosely resembles something you recognize and your imagination takes over. But again, why put these things in the image if it's fake? How can flatties argue that NASA is that incompetent yet still able to fool the entire world? You can't have it both ways. What? The artists are whistleblowers?
Well, then it really is a shit conspiracy and it wouldn't survive a lunch break. The real problem with all these arguments is that flatties have completely unreasonable expectations. Clouds have to move ridiculously fast, and every image of the Earth has to look exactly the same, and the stars have to be visible. These are not indicators of authentic footage, but fake footage.
Naturally, the flatties will also use the conspiracy thing to explain away all the other problems they have. Geometry? What? Seriously? You believe what you were taught in school? Mathematics is just made up to fool you into thinking that the Earth is round. Physics? Same thing. Why hasn't anyone gone to the edge of the Earth and taken a picture of it? Because the Antarctic is a Game of Thrones style wall of ice that you can't get past. Airplanes, you say? Nope, NASA would shoot them down.
Despite being a space agency with neither the military resources, the funds, or the manpower to patrol the entire... Flat Earthers don't even know what NASA is.
For the record, NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, is an agency working under the US government, founded in 1958, charged with conducting and funding research into air and spaceflight, as well as space exploration and the development of technology to be used for those purposes. NASA is not in charge of education, does not control private enterprises like the airlines that would have to be in on the conspiracy, has no power over private citizens like all the people who have traveled enough to know the truth, is not regarded as an unquestionable authority in the scientific community, and most importantly, has no direct control over what goes on, even with regards to space exploration, in nations other than the United States. But according to the flatties, at least the ones who bother thinking this far, this is all just the official story. The truth is that NASA is a satanic cult that rules the world and lies about the shape of the Earth so that people will stop believing that the fables in the Bible are literally true. Not that we need NASA in order to figure that out. Proof? Add a T, and NASA becomes an anagram of Satan. Yep. Once again, we're in cartoon villain territory. If you rule the world in secret, of course you'll put out clues for no reason other than to let people know about it. Why wouldn't you? It's the rule. Watch the Adam West Batman show. And on that note, the UN is in on it too. That's why their flag shows the flat Earth. You know, the secret that they want to prevent people from knowing about.
As I hope you can see, this is beyond stupid. So why do people believe this shit?
Well, the thing about conspiracy theories, and I use the word theories in the loosest possible sense, is that people rarely believe them because of compelling evidence. In fact, the lack of evidence is often seen as the best indicator of an accurate conspiracy theory. I mean, if it's false, why would they cover up the evidence? Instead, people believe in conspiracy theories because they have emotional appeal. People look for a purpose behind things, and they look for scapegoats. Conspiracy theories provide that. They might also feel empowering and comforting, putting humans, albeit evil ones, in control of events in the world. History unfolds according to a plan. Something like World War I, which is one hell of a complicated mess, can be reduced to the Illuminati ordered their puppets to start fighting each other because they wanted a generation of people wiped out. Because evil. It seems so simple, and hey, even better, you can replace the Illuminati with any group you want. Perhaps an ethnic group you don't like? There you go. Purpose, a scapegoat, and the illusion of control. But another important thing is that people look for patterns even where none exist. This search for patterns can lead people to think that significant events need significant explanations, which of course they don't. Don't know what I mean? Okay, consider this. Can a president die from natural causes? Well, in reality, of course, but in tinfoil hat land, that's a logical impossibility. There, a president can't even be murdered by an individual acting alone. In fact, the only way a president can die is by being assassinated by the real rulers of the nation, because he knew too much and was going to talk. There must be a conspiracy at work, and anyone saying otherwise must be in on it. Important people don't die without there being a conspiracy behind it. That's just not significant enough. 9/11 must have been an inside job. There simply must have been a huge plot within the US government, because the idea that some extremists just hijacked some planes, it's just not significant enough. And since that's what the government says, well, why would they lie if they weren't behind it? If we don't go to the moon today, why should we believe that we ever did? What, it's not a political priority? It was all about beating the Russians and that's it? No. That's not significant enough. There has to be a conspiracy at work here. The greater the conspiracy, the greater the appeal. So how about this one? Pretty much everyone agrees that the Earth is a spheroid, and that includes literally everyone in the scientific community. It can't be that the evidence is totally convincing. It must be a lie that everyone has either bought or... Holy shit, literally anyone could be in on it! And I know the truth. Hey, I'm smarter than everyone else, and I'm important. I'm the hero. I'm the rebel fighting the evil empire that has, you guessed it, taken over the world.
Of course!
And that's yet another reason why people like conspiracies. They give events a purpose. They give you a scapegoat that put humans in direct control of history, they provide significant events with significant explanations, and they make the believer feel smart and important.
Which he isn't.
This is also the reason why it's practically impossible to convince a conspiracy theorist that he's wrong. It's not an explanatory model of reality that can be tweaked as new evidence comes to light. It's an entire worldview that gives answers to great questions and defines how you view pretty much everything else. Add to this the fact that conspiracy theories make self-fulfilling predictions. If you're right, you'll find no good evidence because it's been covered up. If you're right, authority figures and smart people with fancy degrees will say you're wrong. If anyone argues against your position, well, they're clearly in on the conspiracy. Arguing against conspiracy theorists will only reinforce their beliefs, and the better your case is, and the more authority you have, the greater the effect is usually going to be. Now, if that wasn't enough, let me repeat that there's a religious issue involved here as well. The Bible says that the Earth is a circle, Isaiah 40:22. Circles are two-dimensional, they're flat. So getting a flat earther of the religious variety, and that's probably most of them, to listen to reason is to bash your head against two brick walls, both of which will probably prove impenetrable. So why have I addressed what they say? Well, even if you realize that it's all absolute crap, you might not understand why or how we know that. So someone might actually have learned something. If nothing else, it might have been entertaining, in a painful sort of way. The most important reason why I've addressed the subject, though, is that it's an extreme symptom of two very common problems: anti-intellectualism and exaggerated mistrust of authority. This is where they lead. When you assume that the truth must be immediately obvious and that therefore education and actual research only lead you astray, and that everything any authority figure says is a lie and that the truth must be the exact opposite, then you end up believing in all kinds of crazy crap. I'm not saying you should take authority figures at their word. What I'm saying is be skeptical, not stupid.
The skeptic, the free thinker, is not the one who says, "No, I refuse to follow." It's the one that asks, "Why should I follow?" and then actually listens to the answer with an honest desire to understand it. If science deniers would do that, they wouldn't be science deniers anymore. See ya.